Happy Halloween, everyone! Welcome back to Simming History, where usually we look at the history of architecture through the lens of The Sims. But not today. But before we get started today, if you like the video, please take a moment to hit like and subscribe. Today, we're doing the Halloween build, and this year, if you haven't already guessed it, we're doing the Addams family. So let's start off, as usual, by defining a parameter. We're going to be building the home that is in the 1991 movie. More on that later. This home is done in what is called the Second Empire style. It's a Victorian architecture style. A lot of people, when they see Addams Family, they think Gothic, but Gothic in pop culture is completely different than Gothic in architecture. And one of these days, we're going to cover both, I promise. But this home is Second Empire style. Now, I did as best as I could on the exterior. For example, it's supposed to be like horizontal clapboard siding, but it's also supposed to have this really weathered look. And unfortunately in Sims, weathered is really only there in this vertical siding. So, you know, you find the best to match the look. I also want to say up front, we're not going to be building every single room, largely because not every single room is seen in the film. There are whole sections of the house, like one whole half of the second floor, that is just simply not shown. I have no idea what's there. For the interior rooms, we're going to start bottom up, which means we're starting in the kitchen. Kitchen is the room in the house where in the movie, Grandmama makes all the meals in this cauldron at the fireplace. So obviously we have to make sure a cauldron's in here. And there's a whole bunch of credenzas and hutches and tables covered in pots and pans and spell books. Hysterically, in one scene, Grandmama has both a spell book in front of her as well as The Joy of Cooking, which is an actual cookbook. This is also the area of the house where the family takes apparently most of their meals, although there does seem to be a dining room. And it's also the location of Lurch's bedroom. We only see Lurch's bedroom one point in the movie, but if you look really closely, you can see a window really high up in the wall, and that is only seen in the basement. On the first floor, of course, we're starting off with the entryway. Now in the movie, the entryway has this really kind of ornate floor pattern, which unfortunately, because of the limitations of The Sims, I really couldn't duplicate. Although I certainly tried during my testing, there really wasn't anything that got close. But the entryway is a fairly large room. It has a stair that goes up in the center and then goes off on the two sides. There's a circle of green columns, and you can see in one point that there is actually a dome up above. Which again, unfortunately in Sims, I really can't duplicate. We also see in the opening scenes that the majority of the spaces, including the attic where the children's bedrooms are off to the left of the house. But for some reason, the master bedroom is off to the right of the house alone, and to access it from the left, you actually have to come down the stairs and then back up, which creates a problem later on, but we'll get to that shortly. After the entryway, one of the first rooms we see is, of course, the office and the hallway leading to it. This is where Gomez meets with his lawyer. The hallway is full of art, and they do actually seem to be legitimate art pieces, minus the portrait of Fester. And the office is filled with swords and weapons, which I try to duplicate to the best of my ability. Sims, interestingly, doesn't have a whole lot of wall-mounted sword options. But, you know, you do what you can. And the office also is sort of this really weird shape. It's all angles, even though this is from the outside where a square bay is located. The only conclusion I can come to is that the bay is then angled inside, which I've tried to duplicate. Next up after the office, of course, we have the library. The library is where the seance to reach Uncle Fester takes place. It's also where they go every single time they need to access the vault, The vault is where all the Addams riches are stored beneath the house, and I did not create it in this video just simply because of difficulty. They access the vault by a stair, and there's really no way to build a giant chamber of gold down there, so sorry, but not included. Also off the library is a small little hallway where there's a pipe organ that Lurch plays during the course of the seance. From there, we're heading into the sitting room, which we see a couple times during the course of the movie, especially at the end when Uncle Fester is celebrating Halloween with his family. It's an entirely wood-paneled room. It's got a fireplace. It's got some couches, which interestingly enough seem to be pink floral. Not what I would have considered for the Addams family, but there you are. On the other side of the first floor, we have the Conservatory, which, of course, in the Addams Family case, is full of dead plants. In this scene, we see Morticia cutting off the heads of roses, while Gomez plays chess with the Thing. Next to the Conservatory seems to be the dining room, although, strangely, we really don't see this room during the movie, so this is all conjecture. Last room on the first floor is the ballroom. The ballroom is, of course, where they have the Addams family reunion and everyone dances. It's a large room that's got kind of a strange shape. One half of it seems to be angled, with large stained glass windows and a mural on one wall, which unfortunately I really couldn't duplicate in The Sims. Now we're heading up to the second floor, and really all we're going to do here is the master. The master is the only second floor room we see. We know there's a whole other half of the house, but we don't see that. The master, all we know about it is its purple wallpaper and its large dark wood bed. And literally, that's all we know. From here, we gotta head upstairs to the attic. Now we know the attic stairs separates the two halves of the second floor, so clearly there is no continuous landing on the second floor. Once we get the attic stair figured out, which we really only see in a couple side angle camera views, we can move right up on to Fester's room. This is one of the first rooms we see in the movie. It's where Gomez is lamenting the loss of his brother. And it's, I think, one of the more complete sets, certainly the most complete bedroom set in the movie. We actually see all four walls. We can see what decor he has chosen, largely science and biology related. We can see all of his experimental tables. We can see where his bed is. It's really one of the more complete set pieces. Next to his bedroom and attached to it through a door is a small bathroom, which we see later on in the movie. Next up, we've got Pugsley's room. Pugsley's bedroom we see, I think, twice, right at the beginning when Wednesday is threatening to shoot him with a bow, and then later on when Morticia is reading them a story. It's just a bedroom with two beds, and it's filled with road signs, because as we know from another part of the movie, he likes to steal road signs. The final bedroom, of course, belongs to Wednesday. Unlike Pugsley's, her room is fairly well organized. There really isn't any wall decor. There's no stolen road signs. It's just two beds, what looks to be a dollhouse, a pile of books, and a couple other odds and ends, but fairly well clean, fairly kind of ordered and put together. Very, very Wednesday. So as we start looking through images of the floor plans in the exterior and the interior, let's talk a little bit about the history of the Addams family, because it's actually far more extensive than I realized. And it starts in 1938, in the middle of the Great Depression, when the Addams Family, a comic strip, appeared in the New Yorker, which is fascinating to me. I don't know why you would create such kind of a dark story in the middle of the Great Depression. It starred the Morticia, as we know, and a larger, bulkier, less suave Gomez. In the 1960s, it became the Addams Family, a TV show that aired from 64 to 66. And that's when the suave Gomez made his first appearance. This is the Addams Family of my parents' generation. There was the Addams Family Funhouse in 1973. It was a pilot for a variety show, and it really didn't go anywhere. There's the Addams Family, an animated series from 1973 to 1975 that even partnered with the Scooby-Doo gang. I am also familiar with this one, largely because I grew up watching Scooby-Doo. There's the Halloween with the New Addams Family, which was a special from 1977. And of course, this iteration of the Addams Family from 1991, starring what I think is probably the best mortician in the biz, Angelica Huston. There was the animated series from 1992 to 1993, Addams Family Values in 1993, Addams Family Reunion in 98, which was a whole new cast, The New Addams Family, a short-lived TV show from 98 to 99, an Addams Family musical in 2010, and of course the current iteration, The Addams Family, the animated movies, the first one having been released in 2019, and the second one out right now in 2021. Out of curiosity, has anybody seen these, and are they any good? Let me know. So thanks for joining me today as we did this special Halloween build of the Addams Family house. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, you can find me on Instagram at Simming History, on the Sims 4 Gallery at Simming History, where there'll be playable versions of this build. Thank you all to all the new subs. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe. When we hit 1,000, I will do live build, so subscribe and share. I'll see you all next time. Until then, bye!